Yes, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be talking to everybody. Welcome in. Give it up.
Man, I always say this to everybody: introduce yourself to the universe to those who may not know who you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my name is Gregory Shaw Jr. I'm a financial coach, tags at Mastering Dollars and Cents. And I basically just talk day in and day out with people about personal finances, how to get their financial house in order, investments and things like that. So that's mainly what I do. Before just to get a little bit deeper in it, before I talk to people about like investing and like making those flips and getting the money and making it work and doing things like that, I always talk about making sure people have their financial house in order. Because if you have your financial house in order, everything else is like gravy on top. It's like, you're doing the music and then you got the merchandise popping at the same time. That's just gravy. But guess what? I have my foundation with my music. I know my artists. I know this. I know that. That's what brings anything else that I do more success on it. Um, so just to break down the financial house, when we talk about financial house, the foundation above all things, life insurance, will, and the budget. That's the foundation. No matter where thousands. But if you pass away, what happens to that money?
Yeah,
Real talk, right? Like what happens to the kids? What
yeah,
happens to the wife, the husband? Like people, I see so many people in the game. They make so much, make so much money and make so many moves. But then you see, like recently, you see like in the news stuff comes out and like, dang, this person didn't have this in place.
yep.
You know what I'm talking about? Like this person didn't have this in place. Like, oh man, I thought they had everything together. They had money, and you realize they don't. You know. So just talking like that. Just talking like that.
If you're interested in getting into this, like um, that system of like money, like really analyze getting that interest fully into money, like mastering your dollars. You get
Extra money. Hey, okay. I can teach y'all the game like that. So, like I said, you want to make sure the financial house is in order. But after you make sure everything is lined up with your life insurance, you want to make sure the next step is, emergency funds and things like that. And what I mean by emergency fund is saving up money. So when stuff hits the fan, that you know that's going to happen, whether it's the car goes down, whether it's this, whether it's that, you want to be in a position where you're covered. Because at the end of the day, as you're stacking, as you're growing, as you're investing in things like that, if something happens, the last thing you want to do is have to drop out investments, drop out money, sell this, sell that, just to take care of your car. You know what I'm saying? So that's the last thing you want to do. So you want to make sure you have that build up a little nice little nest egg to the side. So if anything happens, you're good. Now, when it comes to generalized investments, Shawn, I'll be watching your page a lot. I'll be watching, so I know that you have like a lot of performers and artists and things like that. Now, when it comes to investments, artists are a little bit different.
yeah,
So when it comes to planning for their retirement specifically, because at the end of the day, we're artists, cool, but you have to think about that
yeah,
long term gain, and how the money works.
yeah,
So when it comes to artists, you have to deal with something called what's called a solo 401k. And what that is that's basically a 401k is basically a retirement program. We talking about long money, but it's basically designed for business owners with no employees because normally an artist has no employees. Even if they have a contract with people
yeah,
or other artists, it's a contract. It's not their employee.
yes.
So this is a savings benefits for them where they can put money to the side, grow it, and gain interest on that. I still got a question. Do you own any precious metals? I own some. Me personally, I own golds.
Yeah,
Uh, the reason being is because you want to balance out when it comes to inflation and things like that.
yeah,
As you guys have probably seen, when it came to this COVID and things like that, stocks have been up, down, crazy. People selling this, people selling that, things like that. But the only thing that's been consistent is gold has been going up. Gold goes up, goes up, goes up. So you want to make sure you follow that. That's always good for a solid portfolio. Make sure you have a little gold. Make sure you invest in stock markets, things like that. I like that. That's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah, so now, like now, how the system's going with the politics from Trump shock. Now they
Hmm.
that cradling the baby, like back everybody was wilding up. So now people are gonna think it's time to relax. We're gonna get better things going on because of. So what do you think of that? Like their same market before was like crazy. Like no one did it. It's still crazy. People can't go anywhere. But up here in
Hmm.
Canada, right? And people overseas can't really come here like that easy anymore because they're the ones who are the major home buyers. It's foreign,
That's true.
not people who are born necessarily here, who are buying
Right.
houses. So we can afford the whatever the percent of to get the homes. People who are born here. So the houses are like $1 million houses.
Ooh.
Oh, it's like a million. You cannot get. Really, you're lucky if you getting like reasonable, like even $100,000 house that don't exist, and that's out somewhere far away.
Well, yeah, no. Well, the game has changed when it comes to the housing markets. I do have a few tips on people who are trying to get into the game of like housing. Keep in mind, make sure, like I say, make sure that financial house is in order. I'm always going to go back to that because once you get a house is a major investment. But if you have all types of debts left and right, if you
Yeah,
don't know how to manage your money, anything like that, it's all going to come down. So I want you to always keep that in mind. Forgive me for the noise in the back. My little one's watching a little TV.
don't worry. I know.
But
Like,
so so for people who are trying to buy their first home, things like that, even though cash is king, all that, you want to make sure you have your credit good and on point. So credit is normally a reflection of how your money habits go. So it all comes hand in hand. A few things just to clear up your credit right quick if you need to work on it. Simple tips. Majority of the time, there's a lot of wrong information on there, whether it be your name, whether it be um, disputes, whether it be charges. Man, if you see wrong information, whether you download like Credit Karma and that stuff like that, or you can go what's called freeannualcreditreport.com. You can go there. You can get a free credit report right now. You can get a free credit report every single week, every single week, and then check it out. But what you want to do is dispute any wrong information, pay off the debts. Like
yeah,
if they're like real debts, like don't try to dispute the stuff that you know is yours. Like just pay it off,
yeah,
and then increase your credit limit. One of the major factors is how much credit utilization that you have. So even if you ask your credit card company to, hey, I want a higher limit, that automatically increases your credit limit utilization. So it puts you in a better area credit wise. So that's a little game when it comes to credit. I don't focus primarily on credit, but I know what you need to do to get to the next level.
yeah.
But a few tips on buying a house. You want to make sure, like I said, pay off your debts and have an emergency fund in place because if anything happens, this is a major investment. This is not like an apartment. You can call the apartments and they can fix some stuff. So you want to make sure you have that stuff in place where, if, man, the furnace go down, this go down, you have the funds to take care of it.
Yeah.
What you also want to do, you want to determine how much you can afford, which comes with what's called a pre-approval. People search for houses left and right. Like you said, hey man, if the housing market all of a sudden took a major upturn where houses now cost 100,000, looking at millions and stuff, then people can't buy as easily as they did before.
Yeah.
So they have to make sure they get a pre-approval just to see if the game is still the same. Because you're walking in, you basically window shopping.
Yeah.
If you're looking online at different houses and prices and stuff, you window shopping.
Yeah.
Until you can pre-approve and see, hey, I can afford this amount, you can't make no moves either way. So get that done as soon as possible. Next thing you want to do is make sure you raise and save that down payment and that closing cost. Save it up, whatever it needs to be, whether it's 2-3%, save that thing up as well as the closing cost. Sometimes when it comes to the mortgage company, if you set a deal with them, they'll actually take care of the closing costs for you. So, but you got to talk. You got to talk that talk. You got to know this. who you're dealing with. You know. What else? What else? Last thing is, of course, find a home in your area that fits into the budget. Shoot, offer it up. Shoot, and make that sale. That's about it.
So part of the situation to do that in some people's situation, the location now. So
Hmm.
say if they're not self-employed, they have to go out work, right? So for
Right.
example, down here, a lot of the cheaper houses are further out in the outs, like like more outskirts, not the
Hmm.
city, like Toronto. If you know Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Like the New York, you would say, right? And then there's the GTA, which is like the suburbs. Then it's going
Hmm.
like bush, whatever, more farmland or whatever. You get what I mean? Going up north is like just keep going, right? So
Yeah.
further you go away from the city of employment, the cheaper the houses become. The closer you come to the city, the more expensive, right?
Right.
So it's super expensive to live in Toronto. Most people who live in Toronto, you have to have like a good job, like a really good. That's the Manhattan. You get what I mean? A really good
Yeah.
full apartment is about like a one bedroom is about like almost 1,000, maybe 2,000 could be
Yeah.
dollars a month just for one bedroom apartment.
Ooh.
You're lucky if you get that.
Then what? Then this is my advice on that. Then what you'd have to do is something called house hacking. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, no,
House hacking is basically
less up.
you. There's two ways to do it. You can either buy a house with multiple rooms in it, and you have to keep in mind you have to be comfortable with this living condition because it's not for everybody. But you can buy a house with multiple rooms in it, live in one room, and rent out the other rooms. That's one way you can do it. So you have multiple people living in there. It's basically you got roommates,
Yeah,
but you actually own the house, and they're paying you a percentage of that. So that's one way you can definitely do it. Another way you can definitely do it. No, that's when it comes to Toronto, that area. That's the best way I've seen it done.
but people,
House hacking, just like you said,
but
because the cost is so much.
but now, especially with this Corona now, it's like in the future of things won't be that there will be so much restrictions probably like that two families in a house because there is like that people live on top and there's big basements where they have these apartments probably like 6 rooms. Like one of my
Hmm.
had a house like that. He had like 9 rooms. I couldn't believe that he had like 9 rooms in his house, and he would rent them all out. He had his space, the living room. He made.
Yeah.
He had the kitchen. He had, but every room, 9 rooms.
Whew.
Five,
Man, he could have house hacked that completely. I would have rented out all them rooms.
9 rooms. But he was doing it though. He was doing it for a long time still, right? But it's really expensive to live in Toronto. No one
Hmm.
can afford to live in Toronto. Like everyone, it's like international zone for real estate. You see,
Man,
so the students who come here and educate themselves, they come here and buy up the condos. One small condo would be like $700,000.
shoot, then that means
The money coming from like Asia, what could afford Toronto? The people who are from here live in the outskirts, and if you are from Toronto, you're struggling real bad. If you get what I mean. If you don't have that job, that employment,
yeah.
it's really, really, really bad. So people,
Is there opportunities for like side hustles there,
yeah,
like
there's a lot of
to
jobs.
come up?
A lot of jobs though. There's a lot of jobs. There's no
Hmm.
excuse. There's a lot of employment. There's a lot of industrial and manufacturing and even professional. There's a lot of jobs, but what it is, it's like it's like down where in the States, like where you're from, your area where you're from, on that resume could probably affect you. So a lot of people have to go out of town to certain people areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You from like that the ghetto, you can't apply. Maybe you have to use your cousin's address or something like that, or something. Because you stay out Dana Finch, yo, and you're trying to get that job somewhere, right? Where there's
Yeah.
employment because it's close to like a lot of places of employment, the outskirts. you won't get that job maybe. You probably have to use your cousins or something like that. That's an example. I know that's what happens. That's job employment discrimination or area discrimination. So most people, the jobs where they live, they can't get it. It's people from somewhere. It's the people from somewhere else getting the jobs from where they live. You see what I mean? Because you know what I mean? It's the people from outside
Yeah.
suburbs working in Toronto.
It just took it up.
They took it up. Like, who are from the city, a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times, they're the ones who are like, tough. If you don't have that job, I know it's hard. It's really hard. Down the city.
Well, I ain't know it was that real in Toronto, man. You dropping some
Yeah,
knowledge on me right now.
that's a step. See, because people look on Toronto as this high class. Yeah, it is high class, but they never look on the low. If you are not if you don't, but it's a social country, so you're comfortable, right? That's what
Yeah.
people what's in it didn't like. Bless up, yo. It's a social country. That's why Obama liked. You see, like Obamacare, we got that.
Right.
Don't pay for a lot of stuff here, but you would think, oh, the houses would be a reasonable whatever price, but no, it's not. You could buy 3 houses probably in the States with the prices for one house right here. Because I see,
That's probably, man. I was wondering why so many people from Canada come down here. I always wondered. I'm like, man, I thought it was,
like,
lined up nice.
yeah, now you know because when you're looking at a big, okay, a house, what I'm seeing, someone show me, looked like a man. Okay, it was about 200,000.
Mhm.
Atlanta, 200,000, around 200,000 or something. Maybe it was around 180 or something. Here, that would have been a half a million, almost $1 million house. It looked, yeah, it was a
Come on,
nice,
man.
it wasn't a mansion, like it was a nice size, but it wasn't a mansion, but it was like about 700,000
Man, that's wild.
up here. That would be a 700,000 more than that. Actually, let me correct myself. Now that I look at it, it would be $1 million house, over a million,
Man.
over a
Yeah,
million.
y'all need to come down here and buy a couple of these. Got a couple of these houses, man.
It would be actually because a simple house size. I don't know but just like a 3 bedroom house. Just say a 3 bedroom house is almost $1 million. A 3 bedroom house could be almost $1 million. Just an example I'm giving. You see that? So imagine if you have an 8 bedroom house, like just like one of those. Just that is like over a million, with over $1 million. Now you understand. Just break it down like that, down to earth. You know the numbers is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, man, them numbers are crazy. So, Citywide Z asks, is there such thing as a good debt? I hear many things, people talking about good debts and bad debts. My thing's at the end of the day, debt is you owe somebody money.
Yeah.
You owe somebody money. So it's all in your mindset of what you think about it. Me personally, I don't like owing people money.
Yeah.
I'm the type that I won't even borrow it from my family. Like I hate owing people money. That feeling of like, man, I got weight on my chest. It's pressure. You know,
Mm.
it's pressure. Y'all know about it. Like y'all have that feeling
Oh,
of like
that's big.
you you know, like you in school and you owe that kid some money. You know you ain't got the money. You can't even go around that kid. It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it is. So, but imagine like the heavyweight. Imagine $1 million that you owe on the house. Like not only do you owe that amount,
Never
but
own
if you don't pay it, they take the house.
it. He never own it. But and down. No, it's perfect. But down, at least like I met a couple guys from down from America, and one guy who came up here, I was working for a while. Said, man, I used to do renovations of houses in LA. He couldn't believe
Mhm.
how much we were paying for these houses up here. He's like appalled. Like, what the hell? What is going on? Like he's originally from here, but he left like in the 80s and lived there like 25 years anyway. But he was coming back and he hated it because it was so expensive, right? They,
Yeah.
they put a tax on I think it was like 93 when I was back in the day when I was a teenager. A tax, GST. There was no GST before. So it was like kind of like down in the States, right? No tax,
Right.
tax. '93. I forgot which prime minister it was. I remember. I think whatever his name was, well, John Chrétien, whatever. Put the damn they put the GST on. So when you think it's $12, it's like $18. That's an example. So it says $12.99 at $12. No, $12.99. Gonna be like $15 almost you're paying for that pant, for that shirt. So I would say $12.99. You better have the $5 with the tax.
Hey, you better have it ready, huh?
Have that ready. That's how it is, man. Trust me. It's the real deal. But yo, I remember as a kid when there was no tax. It was like you could go to the candy store and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You can never do that now. That's like a whole bunch of candy is like $20 or something.
Hey, now the government want all that. Hey, now I got to get a piece of all of that.
Yeah, man. So, yo, how long have you been doing this financial,
Ooh, I first got started in 2013, like right out of college. So I went to Louisiana State University down here, and I got started because, shoot, the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to learn about money. I feel like I knew that it was important. I knew that there was things that I didn't know. So I just started looking around for people who would teach me about money.
Yeah.
I found a company that would, and they just started teaching me right from college. And majority of the stuff that they were talking about was completely going over my head. Like, think about it. You're 22. People are telling you about retirement, life insurance, and stuff like that. You're like, why is that important? Like, why is that meaningful? But then when it's time when you actually get into life, you realize that, man, people don't know this information. People don't actually implement this stuff. People don't know how important it is until all of a sudden somebody passes away. And then they're looking for life insurance. All of a sudden somebody's about to retire and they don't even have enough. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Hold on.
COVID-19 relief money. The COVID. Yeah. They will. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me catch up. I'm going to answer all the questions right now. Hold on. Let me catch up. Also, be sure to keep your get lifted. And Tammy said, also be sure to keep your overall credit card utilization 30% or less. That's really good when it comes to the credit card utilization. Like I said, if you ask for increase your limit, it'll definitely help out that as well. So make sure you definitely do that. Let's see. Now they got HS. Yeah, you just covered that. Tax will go higher in the next couple of years. They definitely will. So you already know that and get ready for them taxes. But as long as you prepare ahead of time, you know they coming. You can make moves accordingly. There's pros and cons in both countries. Yes, you're right about that. Yep, government will recoup that COVID-19 relief money. Oh, most definitely. And I heard different things about coming out from the taxes and things like that. So, man, just be prepared. So if anybody took stimulus checks, whatever government loans, please be prepared. Don't get caught off guard.
Needs to be taught to the black nation. Just, that's it. That's my sis right there.
Let me see.
Financial
literacy needs to be taught to the black nation. Oh, most definitely. And that's what I'm trying to do, and just day by day teach people the ins and outs. But the reason that I always come back to the financial house, and just for the people who just came in, I'm gonna break it down again, the financial house, because if you have the financial house in order, everything else is just gravy on top. So financial house, just to break it down, when it comes to your foundation, make sure you have your life insurance, will, and a budget in place. Go to my page. You can literally click the link in the bio. It's going to have a section where it says prepaid legal. It's going to walk you through exactly how a will is supposed to look, or even the questions. Even if you don't get a will through there, at least you'll know what it means to have. Because for the people who don't know, a will is something that you put in place to pass legacy over generation by generation. When you hear about people going to court, fighting over this, fighting over that, oh man, I need this. No, you put a will in place so your family doesn't have to do that. Not only does it cost no stress. There's going to be pressure because people are going to be upset. Oh, I can't believe she left this. Cool. But it causes no questions to happen. There's nobody concerned about, oh, they didn't know what was going on. Everything was prepared in advance. And another thing we got to do is talk to one another about these plans. Meaning, after we get them set up, after you get your life insurance, get your will set up, make sure you talk to your family members about it. So if something does happen, they know where to find the information. I talk to families who a person passes away, and if they don't know that a will is there, if they don't know that a life insurance is there, you realize if there's no claim done for life insurance, nobody's getting a check. The insurance company would literally keep they keeping that money. There's no check of, oh man, this person hasn't passed away in 100 years. We should probably give their family the money. Man, they don't care. Like, that's real. You have to talk to your family members about that stuff. The next part of the financial house is emergency fund. People recommend $500, $1,000. You can do anywhere up to 3 to 6 months of expenses for, per month. But it comes also into your budget. If you know your budget and your expenses coming in and out every single month, guess how easy it is to find out your goal for your savings. You understand?
Yeah.
On the Hall's Media says, and if you don't have a will, the government steps in and can make it difficult to settle the estate. Yes, they can. Talk about having to deal with, if you own one of those $1 million homes that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, if you own one of them, imagine now when your family passes away, having to go to court to fight for that. Bro, my mama paid. Come on, man. My mama didn't have this. No. Now you have to fight for it. Oh, man. Yeah. So at the emergency fund, making sure that's in place, like I said, up to 1,000, 3 to 9 months of expenses. Then you want to wipe out your debt. The importance of wiping out your debt, like I told you guys before, you want to owe nobody. Imagine your check. Imagine a check that you receive every 2 weeks, every month, whatever. Imagine that going straight to you and not going to car note, not going to mortgage, not going to credit card. It's just yours. True. Imagine that. Whew. It gives me chills, man. It gives me chills.
Yeah, it's true.
People out here making $250, $300, $400 car payment, paying this and that. Even the small things, even though those little charges every single month can make a difference. But if you use that debt, pay it off, you automatically give yourself a raise. Imagine you pay your car note off that was $450 that you're paying a month. You automatically give yourself a raise of $450. Whew. I want to pay some debt off. I ain't got no debt. I want to pay some off right now. Like, that's how important it is to be debt free. Then once you utilize that, you can go to all these random other investments, things like that. Like Chad Boyceman's wife, he had no will. Now she has to fight for his estate. That's real. I'm not gonna lie. I posted that on my story, on my page. It says, yeah, it is real. It is real. And there's a few local, a few artists that just passed away. I'm looking into their story. Hopefully things were set up for them.
And you see, a lot of artists, they don't, sad to say, they don't think like that. Like, some do now because they learned from like Jay-Z, probably like an example, Jay-Z probably talks about those things, and like certain other artists like Puffy and Master P. But a lot of artists still don't invest in themselves, like some type of insurance. Man, the game is, to go deep to talk about that, basically, you got to be, everyone wants to be a superstar, but it's like a sacrifice. Be that superstar. Everything, creativity, what you create, you don't own it and control it like before. But to get that, what you say, that fast ride, right? You basically take that contract to get that exposure. So the independent one will have to fight through the system more longer. But at the end of the day, that is more better because you have more control. And when it comes to money, you're gonna it might be longer, but money will be always circulating. For example, now there's people who I call commercial, right? But these
Mhm.
artists, they don't own anything, right? So the label owns everything what they get and what they how they live. But for
Right.
example, old school label like a hip hop label, I'm gonna say an underground label called like Duck Down. These guys were not commercialized. Like they might have one, two hits, but they kept going. Got respect from the underground. These guys were independent, so they start having
Mhm.
their own artists, and they're like a cult label. You know, everybody knows who they are. They're making money independently. Concerts for over probably 26, 7 years, going around the world. That's their money altogether.
Yeah.
They're all like a unit, probably 12 of them, all a unit, and they have artists now. They made like their own industry of artists. Probably they have probably like over maybe like 30 artists. I don't know all of them, but I know they've been doing it for years, right? So that's a
Right.
no one owns nothing. I mean, they're all one. But these labels now, these solo artists, we think, yeah, they're showing you this lifestyle. But their masters, do they own their masters? Whose studio they're recording in? Is that their studio they're recording in? Is it them? To me, like they say, it's hard, the harder way, the harder path doing it yourself. But that
Mhm.
is when it comes to money, you own everything, and that
That's
you're going
true.
to benefit now, especially in these days of digital age. It's easier than back in the day. You don't need to sign to any label. The label's just for the show, the spotlight. That's all it is, the spotlight. So what you're saying is an example like I know it in that language. You have to own everything. Like all my music, I never went to no one's studio, so I didn't have to pay anyone. All my anything I do media, I never paid anyone until now. If I'm doing a service to promote myself,
Mhm.
that's the only payment I should be doing to promote like any other business. McDonald's or whoever, they have to promote themselves commercially now. So if you are underground moms and pop shop now with the digital age, you're not. You're commercial, right? But if you pay
Right.
for it, you got to pay for promo. There's nothing free, and that's the main thing in the game with a lot of artists is promotion. They forgot that for a long time because they got lazy for others to do it for them. You got to do it yourself. You as the artist have to do it yourself. The artist is not just an artist; it's a brand. It's a business now. That's what I seen from for a while. You get what I mean? That's why I'm doing this down to
Yep.
with you, down to earth. You have to evolve as an artist. You can't perform nowhere. You can't do nothing anymore. You can't go anywhere. So what do you do as an artist? Just sit down. Okay, you could have music online, a video, whatever, but people want to connect with you. Like if you were at a show, Black Cities, good bankroll management is good habits.
That's true. That is, hey, that's true. But it seems like the artists who are better when it comes to managing their bankroll and understanding that watching the money. I'm just gonna call it watching the money.
Watching the
If
money.
you understand how important watching the money is, then you won't be surprised, or you'll make better decisions on it. Because when you watch the money, you realize how it's a waste of money when you go to a club, spend
Yeah,
break bottles for people who don't do anything, and you waste all this money rather than it could be going into promotions. It could be going into brand and things like that, or even learning more about your craft. Like, man, I actually need to spend this money on uh, research and financials, marketing, industries, things like that. Hold on, give me one more.
I have a little emergency, so
Okay.
if you're not on a live, I need you to get off.
I'm actually on the line.
Okay. Okay, why do you have an emergency? So I need you to get off, seriously.
Oh, Lord.
yeah, man.
Guys, sorry. Wife got a little emergency. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry about
No,
that.
that's all right. But
Let me double check on her.
I see what
Hold on, people. I'll be right back. I'll be
you're
right back.
saying. Bless up. Yeah, Tech Nine is one of the smartest artists in the rap industry. Independent, man. Yeah, I know. Very independent dude. Bless up, Mr. Do. Yeah, Tech Nine, he has his own industry. Trust me, you don't need nobody. Been doing it for a while. Got that one. One House Media. Bless up. Real Killer Bean is in the scene. Yeah, we got Mastering Your Dollars and Cents on the Down to Earth podcast. Next coming.
Sorry,
Yeah,
King.
so,
So I do have to
yeah, this
get to my wife, but before I do go, wanted to continue. before I do go, do we have any other questions at all?
Well, one
Tech
guy,
Nine is one of the smartest artists in the rap industry. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
he has his merch, music, a whole bunch. That's the total evolution as an artist. You have to market yourself and realize it's not just music.
That's
It's
true.
90% business.
That's true.
And they've been saying it for years, and a lot of people forgot about it. Right? 5% fun.
All right. I'll do this one. I'll answer this, the last one, then I got to head out, unfortunately, guys. For the average person, what is the best way to make some savings, make more money? The best way to, when it comes to actually saving more money in general, there's a couple of ways you can work it. Either you can cut expenses, and automatically that's going to bring more money, then you move that money into, the savings. Or if you're literally cutting everything down, like all the expenses are gone, you can't cut anywhere else, you're gonna have to bring the income up, whether it's get a promotion at job, go additionally at school, whether it's make that side hustle. I don't care if you have to, man, I did so many side hustles in college. I used to sell cookies. Like, I have no shame. I have no shame at all when it comes to getting money, because at the end of the day, I know my end goal. So whatever you have to do to get that additional income in to make sure everything works, you got to do it. Once you do it, you put it towards the savings. Now, the ultimate thing is you have to find what's called your financial independence number. If you guys want to find out this, please click the link in my bio. Set up a consultation with me. But what your financial independence number is, that's your freedom number. That's that, man, what do I need to live off of the interest and then not have to work again? Because once you know that number, whether it's 1.6 million, all right, I know I need to get to 1.6 million. This is how much I need to put into account every single month to get to this amount. All right, I'll reach there in 15 years. After 15 years, now I'm 47, and I can live off that money in this account. This game gets deep. This game gets deep, but you have to know your numbers to get there. Because if you don't know your numbers to get there, then you're just saving just to save. Like, you're just saving just to, man, I hope this lasts me until whenever, but you don't know the end goal. It's like, the only way I can compare it music-wise is like, man, it's like coming up with the name, I guess it's like coming up with the name of your album, but you don't have no rhythms, rhymes written down, no lyrics, or nothing. The main thing you focus on is, man, I got to come up.
See what you just said there? That's where they get.
Huh?
What you said there before you go out, that's where they get people. When you go into a contract and they do everything for you, they own everything they have done for you. When you go in, when you have everything, that's a collaboration. That's different. That's when you make the money. Because you already have your investment, you already invested in yourself. You don't need that to do anything. You got your own studio, you got your own graphic designer, you got your own whatever stuff. So it's easier for them to just market you. That's it. You want. That's
it.
I don't want to be signed. I never would want to be signed. So, collaboration. That's how we do it.
That's it, man. Yeah, I got the plan. I just got to run it.
Collaborate is the best way. You see? So gotta go. Much respect, yo, for coming through the Down to Earth podcast, mastering your dollars and cents. People, you better check him out. Great brother, intelligent. Yeah, we must link up again all the time.
Yes, sir.
Down to Earth, man. It's an honor chopping it up.
Peace, gang.
What's up?